the moment that stunned the world. Imagine waking up to find your name erased. Not from a contact list, not from a party invite, but from a royal decree carrying the seal of the monarch himself. That's the reality Prince Harry reportedly faced when King Charles, with the support of Princess Anne, signed off on a document that conspicuously omitted Harry's name. For royal watchers, it was more than a footnote, it was a thunderclap. Why would a father, who once called his son his darling boy, take such a step? And why would Princess Anne, the no-nonsense sister known as the hardest-working royal, stand firmly beside him? But before we continue, please subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell for more updates. This isn't just palace gossip. It's a moment loaded with symbolism. In the royal world, names written in ink are as powerful as crowns, and names omitted can echo louder than words. But let's rewind. How did we even get here? A family written in decrees and documents. The British monarchy thrives on paperwork. It may sound boring, but every decree, charter, or royal order is a thread in the centuries-long tapestry of tradition. To have your name appear in such a document is more than ceremonial. It's an immortal record in the archives of history. So, when Harry's name disappears from a decree, it doesn't simply mean he wasn't included. It sends a message. This person does not stand with us anymore. But here's the kicker. The royals rarely make mistakes with paperwork. If Harry's name is missing, it's deliberate. And the person co-signing this erasure? None other than Princess Anne, the woman who once said, "When you're a member of the royal family, you have to accept that it's your role." That's it. So what role is Harry refusing, or being denied? The rift no one could heal. We all know the story, or do we? Harry's exit from royal duties in 2020 was dubbed Megxit. But it was more than a tabloid headline. It was a tectonic shift. Think of a family holiday dinner that ends in shouting. Only this one played out on Netflix, in courtrooms, and across international headlines. Harry wasn't just leaving a family, he was leaving an institution. Now, years later, every omission, every cool stare across Westminster Abbey, every stiff handshake tells us one thing. Reconciliation is still far away. But is this decree the final nail in the coffin, or just the latest move in a chess game none of us fully understand? Princess Anne, the unexpected power player. Why now? The Princess Royal has never been one for drama. She's the kind who shows up to 500 royal engagements a year without complaint, hops into a tractor on her estate, and once famously scared off a would-be kidnapper with the words, "Not bloody likely." If Anne stands with Charles on this, it means she sees Harry's absence not as personal, but as necessary. To Anne, the monarchy is a machine, and Harry, a gear that fell out. But here's the twist. What if Anne isn't just protecting the crown, but protecting the memory of her mother, Queen Elizabeth II, who lived by duty above all else? King Charles's dilemma. Father versus monarch. Charles's entire reign has been haunted by the question. Can he balance family love with royal duty? He's the father who walked Meghan down the aisle, the father who held Archie in his arms. And yet, he's also the king who knows the monarchy's survival depends on strength, not sentiment. So when he signs a decree without Harry's name, is it cold-hearted? Or is it the only way to safeguard the monarchy's future? The irony? Charles himself was once the rebel, clashing with tradition over his marriage to Diana, his love for Camilla, his desire to modernize. And yet, faced with Harry, he becomes the very symbol of royal tradition he once resisted. History, it seems, has a dark sense of humor. The message between the lines. Decrees are not tweets. They don't vanish in 24 hours. They're bound, stored, and preserved in the National Archives. In 50 years, when historians flip through this decree, they'll see names, and they'll see absences. Harry's missing name is a message not only to him, but to the world. The monarchy moves on, with or without him. But here's a thought. What if the monarchy is underestimating the power of omission? Harry may not need a line in a decree to write his story. He has memoirs, documentaries, and a global audience. So whose ink matters more? The royal decree or Harry's pen? Public reactions. Cheers, tears, and outrage. The public, as always, is divided. Supporters of Charles and say it's about time. You can't leave the firm and expect to still be in the paperwork, one commentator quipped. Supporters of Harry see it as cruelty. Erasing a son doesn't erase the bond, another argued. But beneath the humor lies a real question. Is this how a family heals, or how it breaks forever? Lessons beyond the palace walls. Here's where it gets relatable. You may not have your name on a royal decree, but you do know what it feels like to be excluded, to be left out of an invite, to see your siblings praised while your name is forgotten. The royal family, for all their crowns and castles, are acting out dramas that echo in ordinary families everywhere. And maybe, just maybe, the real lesson isn't about decrees or crowns. It's about what happens when pride wins over reconciliation. Could this be the endgame? Is Harry's erasure a sign that Charles is preparing for a slimmed-down monarchy, where only William, Kate, and their children carry the torch? Is it a way to tell the world, this is the future, and Harry isn't part of it? Or is it, paradoxically, a desperate move that proves Harry still matters, because if he truly didn't, why bother erasing him? Conclusion: a name, a legacy, a question. In the end, this decree is more than ink. It's a mirror reflecting the fractured state of the House of Windsor. Harry's name may be missing, but the questions remain. Can a monarchy survive without forgiveness? Can a father be a king without ceasing to be a dad? And perhaps the biggest question of all, will history remember this as the moment Harry was erased, or the moment he truly stood apart? Call to action. What do you think? Was King Charles right to prioritize the monarchy over his son? Was Princess and safeguarding the crown, or closing the door on reconciliation forever? Picture this. You wake up one morning, sip your tea, scroll through the headlines, and there it is. Prince Harry's name removed from royal decree signed by King Charles and Princess Anne. First, you blink. Maybe it's a typo, a tabloid exaggeration? But no, the omission is real, deliberate, and devastating. A royal decree, a document designed to outlast centuries, has been signed, sealed, and delivered, without the name of the king's own son. For Harry, the boy who once walked behind his mother's coffin with the world watching, the man who served in Afghanistan, the father of 2 royal grandchildren, being erased in this way is more than symbolic. It's a thunderclap, and the question that echoes louder than any headline is this: what does it mean when your own family writes you out of history? Section 1: The Power of Royal Decrees. Royal decrees might sound like dusty paperwork tucked away in Buckingham Palace archives, but in reality, they're the heartbeat of the monarchy. These aren't just memos, they are binding statements of authority. From the letters patent that grant royal titles, to orders of precedence, to decisions on who represents the crown at state events. Every name that appears or doesn't appear carries immense weight. When your name is included, it's an eternal record. When it's missing, well, that absence tells a story all on its own. Think of it this way. In your family, a missing name on a wedding invite might sting. In the monarchy, a missing name in a decree resonates across nations, affects legacies, and alters perceptions for generations to come. So, when King Charles and Princess Anne signed this document without Harry's name, it wasn't oversight, it was statement. But why now? Why him? Why Anne? Section 2. How we got here, the road to omission. The story of Harry's name disappearing didn't happen overnight. It's the climax of years of simmering tension, explosive interviews, and very public exits. 2016 to 2018. Harry and Meghan's love story captivated the world. From Botswana safaris to Windsor Castle weddings, they were the fairy tale reboot the monarchy needed. 2020. Then came Megxit. Harry and Meghan announced they were stepping back as senior royals. Not leaving the family, they said, just redefining their role. 2021. Enter Oprah. With cameras rolling, Harry and Meghan spoke about racism, mental health struggles, and palace silences. The Crown, famously tight-lipped, was suddenly cast as villain. 2022 to 2023. The Netflix series, Spare, interviews, lawsuits, Harry's grievances were no longer whispered but broadcast. He wasn't just leaving, he was telling the world why. Each step widened the gap. Each revelation made the bridge harder to rebuild. By the time Charles was crowned, the monarchy had quietly slimmed itself down, presenting a united front of Charles, Camilla, William, Kate, and Anne. Harry and Meghan? Not pictured, not listed, not included. So when a decree landed without Harry's name, it wasn't shocking. It was inevitable. Yet inevitability doesn't make it less heartbreaking. Section 3, Princess and the Silent Enforcer. Now let's talk about if Charles is the monarch and is the monarchy's backbone, known as the hardest-working royal, and embodies duty. No Netflix deals, no California mansions, no tell-all memoirs. Just one engagement after another, rain or shine. When and co-signed this decree, it wasn't about personal vendetta. It was about preservation, and has always been blunt. You're either in or you're out. No halfway.